I would like to introduce our Educator of the Year. Sofia Gonzalez is a resident English teacher from Morton East High School in Cicero, Illinois. NSHSS is proud to announce that from more than 50,000 educators of distinction, Sofia has been selected as the 2019 Educator of the Year. Sofia is a high school English teacher, college professor, and published author. She has been in the field of education for more than 10 years and has a deep passion for her students who are disadvantaged. She also educates and empowers future teachers in an online teaching program where she believes that teachers must, much like their students, need to be empowered through education and support. She obtained a two master's degrees, from the University of Phoenix and from St. Xavier in secondary education, licensure, and reading instruction. Sofia has also traveled the country and internationally as a sought-after public speaker, conveying a plethora of topics for the sake of inspiring, influencing, and empowering others. I can speak personally from having discussed many subjects with her that she is a woman of great depth and character, who we are all very richly blessed to hear her speak today. She started a nonprofit called 214, inspired by her first classroom name. She began her career in a gang-infested, impoverished neighborhood in Chicago. Her first job consisted of students who were expelled or dropped out of the Chicago public schools. As a result, she witnessed the great disparity and lack of resources that at-risk students face on a daily basis. Many, unfortunately, died of gun violence. Her organization promotes the power of education by improving basic resources and providing books for both teachers and students at the local and international level. She believes that all students matter and that the world is a global classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Sofia Gonzalez as our 2019 Educator of the Year.
Good evening. I'm about to take attendance. Take a seat. Class is now in session. I'd like to share with you a series of critical events that have led me up to the trajectory that is now. You see, I'll never forget the student's name. His name was Adolfo. Always wore a baggy shirt and saggy jeans, but with such an honest smile. Fairly quiet, always kept to himself. The summer of 2012, the gangs in the city of Chicago were at war. According to USA Today in 2012, it was stated up to 80% of murders, shootings in the city were gang-related. Retaliation like wildfire saturated our Chicago streets. The phone call I could still hear ringing in my ear. Mrs. G, they shot him. They shot him in the head at a block party and he was DOA, dead on arrival. The room stood still, the walls closing in on me. Instead of starting the school year with classroom prep and lesson planning, I was starting my first day attending a funeral. The stabs, the grim stares on my students' faces were almost too much to bear. Upon leaving, I ran into his mom, to which I told her, in the name of your son, I'm going to do something about this with my classroom, with these hands, with this heart. And up to this very moment to which I now stand, I have not broken my promise. I realized with the sudden epiphany that I needed to be more than just a teacher. That moment, along with more shootings and student funerals as an inner city teacher, changed my paradigm and philosophy of teaching forever. My first room number was room 214. This number would eventually metamorph into an actual movement and nonprofit of which I am now the founder. You see, they don't call me Mrs. G for nothing. Yet it is in that framework of overcoming those traumatic experiences that I stand before you today. No pedagogy, vertical alignment, or best practices could have prepared me for what I experienced my first 5 years of teaching. Now a teacher in my home district at Morton East High School, within my community, the mission, even now personal. Thought I could escape it by going home. And I insert, off the script but on the record, 17-year-old Irving Estrada struck down in a basketball court on Tuesday, August 22nd, 2017. He was one of mine. He was in my 6th period English. It appears that if we're confronted with issues that we cannot escape, maybe it's time we do something about it. It has lit a torch, an unquenchable longing to see every disadvantaged student and every marginalized child come out from the sidelines and take their rightful place. It has put an ultimatum on my life to enter the conversation regarding children under gunfire, demanding change and reform in a world and in a time where there is such a thing as bulletproof backpacks. Because you see, education is a fundamental right and not a privilege. Every child deserves a safe space, a bullet-free school zone to learn and to thrive. The social activist megaphone within me declares that every child, regardless of social status, also deserves a chance to succeed. For your zip code should not determine your destiny. It is a prestigious honor to be the recipient of the Class Nobel Teacher of the Year 2019. It will certainly go down as one of the hallmarks of my life. I owe so much to my parents, family, and community of friends that have supported my reach into college instruction and the high school classroom. To my international exploits with Project 214 as we passed out backpacks in Central America to cleaning out classrooms in Puerto Rico post-Maria. Thank you. To my protests with the March for Our Lives kids, who I'm all about, and my efforts to change the collective conscious and conversation for those without a voice. Being a witness to what I have seen and what I now advocate for both locally and internationally, I've discovered that every student and family matters, and the world is a global classroom. You see, everything that we do, we must identify the why and why we do it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my why. As a minority, a Latina from a single-parent home, and a teacher against gun violence, please allow me the space to dedicate this award to different realities in education that have both broken my heart and set it ablaze. I dedicate this award to all marginalized groups, underrepresented and disadvantaged, to the teacher with little resources and overpopulated classrooms, but with a whole lot of heart. We see you. To the 130 million girls out of school internationally, according to a news report from World Bank, it will soon be, and I hashtag this, her turn. And to the families who are the victims of school shootings. To the child under a desk. Ooh, help me, Lord. The teacher as human shield that never made it home. This one is for Parkland, for Santa Fe, for Sandy Hook, for Columbine, to every school building succumbed to an active shooter. This one is for you. You see, in all of my efforts, the greatest travesty is quelling the students' access and ability to dream safely and freely. To me, that is the greatest tragedy of them all. It's not just about bridging the gap as it is about sparking a flame. William B. Yeats once penned, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." Maybe you've never lost a student like me, but maybe you've been around students who have withered away inside. May we all be igniters, one student at a time. And lastly, to every scholar, ambassador, and champion of learning under the sound of my voice, may you all forge ahead. There is so much work to be done, and we cannot accomplish it in isolation. The exigence of this message stretches across the crowd that stands before me. This next generation is equipped with risk takers, agents of change, freedom fighters, and disruptors of the system that would suppress the liberties defended by our forefathers. Onward. And as my mother and father who are here today would say to me in Spanish, ánimo y adelante. I love you more. I end with this. I was once asked a question when I first began my career in a gang-infested neighborhood within the city of Chicago, sandwiched between the Tutu Boys and the Latin Kings. Why would I choose to educate such a people group? And my response developed and resembled a bit of some poetry, to which I replied, why would I take it? I answered back, though I understood the concern and the deep stigma burned with working with a bunch of unlovables, I felt a pounding need for justice to defend them. I took it because I've never met a group of them who survived what they've survived. I took it because I've never met a group of them who have fought back things like a heart attack. You'll never amount to nothing. You'll be dead in no time. You're gonna be just like your daddy, locked up in prison kind of stuff, and still come out with their head slightly up. I never met a group of them who are between the FUs and I have no clues how they pick up the pen and try again, and this time music comes from their paper that says good effort, outstanding, and much better. Though my days were long and my battle against years of neglection and rejection were so deep, they were my heroes. Little did I know that as rookie teacher and preacher that I'd be the one to learn from them. Though I didn't reach them all, and some did fall, but some got up and pressed the button reset and changed their mindset and walked down that aisle with cap and gown. That's why I took it and I take it. Does that answer your question now? In closing, from the bottom of my quintessence and everything that I long to be as a Latina educator and crusader for justice, I thank you. I leave you with the words of Malala, who once said, one child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world. In solidarity, thank you. Class dismissed.
You are the wise, passionate Latina.
Yes, sir.